Alright, so we got Ducky's spoiler summary for chapter 191, and we're getting like two big reveals in this chapter. One is exciting, and then one is like really exciting because we're getting like the reveal of the identity of who that worm curse was at the end of the previous chapter, and it's actually like the popular opinion. And I'll get into that, but we got to go over the first reveal here, which is happening in like the first half of the chapter, and it starts with a flashback that's happening a couple days after the Shibuya incident, where we're going to the Kamo family's estate. So on the 3rd of November, Noritoshi Kamo, Kyoto High student, runs into Shino, an old Kamo clan member, and asks him to help him get in contact with Principal Gakuganji, as well as the Gojo and Zenin clans. However, Shino doesn't seem to recognize him or his influence. Noritoshi then asks if Shino has forgotten the face of the next clan leader, but Shino says Noritoshi does not look like Noritoshi. Then the sliding doors open to reveal it's Kenjaku, who also then reveals that he has had control over the Kamo clan. He commends Noritoshi on seeing through what some of his plans are, but reveals that Noritoshi is too late. Then he says that they will not meet again. Noritoshi prepares for battle, but Kenjaku says that he would not kill him here, as it would just dirty the room, asking him to disappear off somewhere else. So yeah, here's the first big reveal. Kenjaku is actually pulling the strings of the Kamo clan this whole time, and it's understandable because, I mean, first of all, he's Kenjaku. He's probably pulling the strings of a lot of things that we still aren't aware of yet, because he's, you know, pulling the strings of pretty much most of the things in this series at this point. But also, back in the day, he himself took over Noritoshi Kamo. We actually found that out before we even knew what Kenjaku's name was. And doing that, he soiled the name of Noritoshi Kamo, because whatever he did with his experiments and everything else, Noritoshi Kamo became known as like the cruelest sorcerer in history or whatever. And we also know that during that time, he wound up creating like the curse wounds, because he was like really interested in the blood manipulation curse technique. It also turns out that Kenjaku indirectly appointed Yuta as the executioner of Yuji's death by acting behind the scenes and using corrupted higher officials. Hey, also guys, if you like my Jujutsu Kaisen content, please subscribe if you haven't already. It's fine if you don't want to, but if you just needed a reminder, here you go. Thank you. But yeah, Kenjaku seemingly is the shadow leader of the Kamo clan at this point, and I guess this is just giving more motivation to Noritoshi, because it seems like he's going to be a bigger part of the story, or at least the rest of the series at this point. I mean, he was just reintroduced in the previous chapter with Maki, and he got a whole style change. I'm assuming that him encountering Kenjaku here and this whole big reveal to him probably caused that style change. And just aside from the base motivation that everyone kind of has of stopping Kenjaku here, because, you know, he's trying to merge humanity with Tengen using the culling game barrier, but it's always nice to just sprinkle a little more in there, you know. But now we're picking up from the end of the previous chapter, where we saw that big worm curse thing enter the culling game, and it was kind of speaking like a human. And we weren't like 100% sure if it was like running into Maki and Noritoshi, but they did seem alerted by it, but we just didn't see it like in their presence. But now it's pretty much confirming that he is in fact going after them, because the scene cuts to Sakurajima and the present, where Maki and Noritoshi look up at what just entered the barrier. It feels like a curse, but there seems to be something off about it. Maki says that if that is a human, then so is Panda. The curse spots them and then starts going ma before it charges at them so quickly that Noritoshi barely sees it. It pins Maki to the wall, though she guards against it with her hands. She swings at it but misses, and realizes that it's not only fast, but this feels familiar. Finally, the curse that has her pinned again reveals itself to be Naoya, greeting Maki and saying that it too has arrived on this side. So yeah, this is it. The worm curse is Naoya. This was like the, I guess, popular opinion coming out of chapter 190. So this was kind of a long time coming, or I guess like a year coming, because I actually talked about this myself in my chapter 152 review last year, I think, because that was the chapter when Naoya was killed. So after Maki got her full power up, once she got the full power of Heavenly Restriction, she just went on to like slaughter the majority of the Zenin clan, and it eventually got to the point of where she was facing down Naoya. And that fight was, you know, kind of competitive, but once Maki eventually was able to land a clean shot on him, the fight was pretty much over. her. And afterwards, Naoya was like crawling away, and he was so like defeated at that point he couldn't even use cursed energy. And he wound up encountering Maki's mom, who Maki herself recently slit her throat. So she was like on the verge of death. When she came across Naoya, she wound up just stabbing him in the back with like a regular kitchen knife, I guess. Meaning that, you know, Naoya, the sorcerer, was killed by traditional means. No sorcery involved at all. And this is like a no-no in the Jujutsu world, because in chapter 33, it's actually Noritoshi Kamo himself who says this, that if you don't kill a sorcerer with sorcery, then they're going to become a cursed spirit. And like I said, I talked about that in the chapter 152 review, because this was Gege pretty much telling us that this was going to happen. Like, he specifically showed us Maki's mom killing him with like a regular weapon. No jujutsu involved at all. And considering that Naoya was pretty well received from the fandom. I don't know about the Japanese audience, but the, you know, international, more so Western side definitely seemed to like him. I think he's a pretty cool character, or at least he was. But also he came and left so quickly too. He was only around for like less than 20 chapters, I think. So, you know, this was a good way to bring him back, and here he is. And also, he's retained his curse technique in this worm curse form. Like, he's using projection sorcery on Maki in this chapter. Projection sorcery is another thing that I went into detail last year as well, and I'll talk more about it again in my review on Sunday. But it also seems like Naoya has become more powerful as this worm curse spirit. I mean, it makes sense, and he kind of has to, because he was only so much of a challenge for Maki at that time, and considering that, you know, power scale has altered coming into the current landscape of the Culling game, and he's also taking on both Maki and Noritoshi, he kind of has to be stronger. And I guess he's representing like their boss battle here, because that's kind of what we've been going through with the Culling game. We've just been following the main cast, and each of them individually, or sometimes with a partner or whatever, will take on like their first level boss. And then those first level bosses will either turn into just an adversary for them to slay, or for them to become an ally. And I'm not thinking that the latter is happening here with Naoya. I'm pretty sure he's eventually going to die. I mean, he's not going to have a face turn or whatever. But this also might not be like his final form. Like, he might evolve further after this, because I'm assuming that there needs to be like, you know, more levels to this for them. Like, maybe they feel like they've taken him down, and then, I don't know, he becomes like another kind of insect or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think about Naoya coming back as a cursed spirit here. Do you like it? Do you like Naoya? Do you think this is his final form? Do you think there is another evolution to be had by him? Let me know. And if you liked the video, please give it a like, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you next.